Hi everyone, from me, Brent Graham, Thursday night, 9 o'clock. I can tell you I'm looking forward to this weekend of rugby. Why? Because it's the start of the British and Irish Lions tour. Not what we were hoping for, of course. There won't be any spectators at the ground, which is a bit of a disappointment. But we still got the rugby to watch, and that's absolutely great. So looking forward to getting stuck into that. I can tell you I do have two guests on the show tonight, even though you only see one of them on the screen right now. That's Oracle, of course, and I've also got Couch Critic joining us. So looking forward to having him on the show. Of course, to all the boys who are joining us in the live chat, good to see you. Someone else is on there now. YouTube will not let me comment on mobile unless they use the app with all permissions, not on the website. YouTube, they're a funny bunch, those YouTube, and Oracle PD himself. Say hello to everyone there. Let me welcome Oracle. Oracle, big weekend. It's the Lions against the Lions, and I've got a feeling you're going to pick the Lions.
See, Brent, I just said it to you a moment, excuse me, before we came live. I'm very impressed that you're calling me back. I've been in shocking form, and not only that, the size of my bets have been so small compared to what I normally do that I'm almost, I'm not going to say useless to the rugby punting public, but it's, I've got the confidence. What I've done is I've just kept my stakes a little bit lower. I'm looking forward to this tour. I think I've got a bit more knowledge about this tour than I have about the Currie Cup that's been going on. In fact, I'm very surprised we're playing 5 o'clock games on Wednesday night, but that's a story for another day. I'm looking forward to this tour. I've done some research on it, and I'm very excited.
Excellent. Well, welcome to all the boys in the live chat. I see the Crow Tips is there, and he's just messaged me, have I started my Super Brew group yet? I have, yes. I've said, if you want to just send me an email, whatever, I'll post it on the Good for the Game forum. I've been so busy this week, I haven't promoted it. We've got a pay pool going, only $100. And I must tell you up front, I am using this as a fundraiser for my kids' school as well. So 20% of it is going to the fundraising. The other 80 Rand will go into the pot. And I'm hoping we can get a few players together at short notice. So if you are playing Super Brew in particular, join the pool. It'll be a lot more fun. Welcome, lots of guys joining us on the live chat. The likes of Sean Nicholas there as well. It's not the size of the bet, it's how you use it, Gavin. Gav asking me, Sean, why I'm inviting him back on the show. I mean, if I can rope a bet out of him each week, and I'm just laughing because Sean Nicholas early in the week was looking for my bank details, and he said, don't worry, I'll ask Oracle. I'm sure he's got them. So, Sean, good to have you on there, and good to have all the other guests on the show. Couch Critic is running a little bit late. I think he does his Afrikaans show on a Thursday night as well. So let's get straight into the action, though, Gavin. We'll get Couch's opinion when he comes in. I am going to just use Bet Olam prices because Couch does his writing for Bet Olam, so it'll be easier for him to refer to it as well. And the first Currie Cup game of the weekend is, in fact, the only Currie Cup game of the weekend is the Pumas up against the Griquas. Now, Gav, I can tell you the handicap here opened -6.5. I handicapped this game -9.5, so it's moved exactly to where I handicapped the game. But I've got an opinion on this one, but let me get yours first.
Okay, so you're saying this actually opened up below 9.5. I'm surprised it's not double digits. For me, I know Jimmy Stonehouse is a step away or possibly two steps away from a retirement home. But, he went to Japan, he came back with those wrinkles. He still seems to know his stuff. I was very dubious when he came back. I was suspect. I didn't think that he'd have it. But I remember the Jimmy Stonehouse of old, a few years ago, teams would almost fear going to Nelspruit on a Friday night. This handicap's not big enough. I think the Pumas will win this easily. We saw what happened to the Lions. They smashed the Lions. After the Lions scored that, the first try, it looked like it was race over. The Lions were going to dominate the rest of the game, but we were so wrong. Came back, was almost 95% of the rest of the game after that 7-0 was Pumas. And they've just impressed me. I mean, this is I don't know how much of it is Jimmy Stonehouse or how much of it is the Pumas saying, take a look at us. We're not rubbish. We should be part of the Pro 14, Pro 16, Pro 18, whatever it is. I'm very impressed with this Pumas outfit, and I think it's very tough to win in Nelspruit. Especially, I don't know if this is a Saturday afternoon 3 o'clock game. I don't think it is. It's probably Saturday night.
It's a Friday at 4 o'clock. It's a Friday at 4 o'clock.
It's tomorrow afternoon. Okay, well that's even better. No one's watching. Everyone's at work, and everyone's expecting to watch the South African game later in the evening. It does take a little bit away from me being 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but I'm still going to go with the minus here. And I'm going to suggest that anything up to about minus 14.5 is probably enough here. So if you're looking for a bit of a bigger price, try and find an alternate handicap around the 16, 17, 18 line. I think this Pumas team can win by 20 plus here. Really, I was very impressed with them. It's not a big bet for me. I haven't had very many big bets in the last couple of months. As I've mentioned to many of you, this is my most expensive year. Next year, Oracle 2022 will be the richest punter around. I'm going to have so much money. I don't have to pay for anything with regards to anybody, any kids or anything like that. So I'm looking forward to it. But still, it's going to be a small bet for me, but I'm going minus here.
So if I offered you Pumas minus 5.5 to clear all of our debt, would you jump at it?
It'll have to be more than that, though. I'll have to walk away with some money to really feel it.
No, I'm just teasing. I like the Pumas as well. Yeah, the line opened up minus 5.5, minus 6.5. I kept this game minus 9.5. I reckon the Pumas are absolutely good things. You know, the Griquas last week beat a Cheetahs side that was missing a lot of players. It was an awful Cheetahs side. They at least turned my weekend for me last time. I was on Griquas over 30.5, and it arrived. They scored 31 points, and they also won the game, which tipped in the good for the game preview. Even money actually at Hollywood, and they won quite convincingly there. I can see Couch is going to be joining us in a second here. Crow Tip saying Pumas have been so impressive lately. Couldn't agree more. You know, I was so impressed with them. Yes, I think they went down narrowly to the Bulls in the end, but some of the tries they scored in that second half were absolutely incredible. And I think they're going to give the Griquas an absolute pasting. Now, Hein is here, Couch critic, and he's... Oh, sorry, Gav, go for it before I introduce Couch.
Yeah, I just want to say, last week on our WhatsApp group, Brent, you asked me what I thought. And I tentatively said, I say tentatively, I didn't write it down last week, but I was almost non-committal. And I looked at that handicap against the Griquas, and I thought, geez, this has got to be the Cheetahs. And, you know, everybody asked me, and I said, I don't know, I like the Cheetahs in this game. My gosh, I was wrong. Even Brendan O'Connell sent me a message within about, I think it was about 25 or 30 minutes into the first half. And he said, look at the scoreline, it's 7-3 or whatever it was. And the Cheetahs had just scored and they went 10-7 up. And I said to him, the Cheetahs have scored. And he sort of gave me a funny emoji. I can't even remember what it was. And I think that was it. It was race over after that. The Griquas won the rest of the game, I think like 30-0 after that point. And yeah, my gosh, the Cheetahs were absolute rubbish. I don't know what they were doing. So I do apologize to anybody who listened to me saying the Cheetahs had any chance last week. I honestly didn't have a bet, and I hate tipping a game I don't have a bet on. I didn't have a bet on that game, and I really feel bad if you did lose there. But do not read anything to the Griquas there. They were reasonable, and the Cheetahs were rubbish. That's all I can deduce from that match. I watched the whole game in full, and I can see that I was way wrong. They didn't give an absolute anything about that match. Griquas played normal Griquas rugby and won the game comfortably.
Yeah, I must say that game, I went out actually for a jog and I came back, fast-forwarding the game, and I got to the 33rd minute. Now, bear in mind, I'm high on Griquas points at 30.5, and they had naught after 33 or even 35 minutes. So, I mean, I thought I'd done my money on that bet. But listen, enough talking about the game. Let's welcome our guest here. He's coming, I'm guessing, from his show, and let me welcome him in Afrikaans. Baie welkom, Hein, na Goed vir die Wedstryd.
Goed vir die wedstryd, ja. Great Afrikaans there, Brent. No, guys, it's great to be here. Chris, Emil, everyone. Sean, I'm not so sure Emil on the 1 to 12. I must say I'm in the camp of just all pink. I'm solid in the Pumas camp. I got on that 6.5 early doors. I thought that was a cracking line, and as in the immortal words of Sean Nicholas himself, I thought that was golden. So. I'm all over that, and even at 9.5, I think you can still have a dabble. I just think they're a different league. I mean, they even pushed the Bulls last week. They've got a good structure there. Chatted to Jimmy Stonehouse a couple of weeks ago. I mean, he's got them where he wants them. They've got Willie Engelbrecht involved. So no, it's a good team, and they're playing great rugby. So I don't think don't be confused or have any misconceptions about the fact that the Griquas be the Varsity Cup Cheetahs team. It's all Pumas.
The Crow Tips there just pointing out Eddie for sure is a good player, and I have to say that's so true. I know Hendrik Swart rates him very highly, and I certainly think he could find himself at the Bulls pretty soon because he's playing some great rugby. I've just got to ask a favour, Han. No more mentioning the word golden. Sean has trademarked that, and every time you mention it on the show, YouTube give me a copyright strike. So please, none of that none of that golden stuff. But I am laughing because it's amazing. I'm pretty sure that Sean came up with the phrase golden when it came to punting. And if you look on Twitter now, it's amazing how people do use that phrase. So full credit to Sean Nicholas there. When he was a younger man, he came up with that phrase. Nobody teasing Sean, but full credit to you there. Right, guys, I'm very firmly in the Pumas camp here. I handicapped this game at minus 9.5. Although I capped it there, and that's where the cap is now, it doesn't mean that I'm not on the Pumas. I was hoping for 9.5 so I could get on it. So I think we're in alignment on this game. I think the Pumas are going to absolutely put this Griquas team away. I'll also be looking at Pumas points here as well. Just to welcome Mark to the show, although I guess he's probably stopped watching because he said his connection is a bit too slow to watch. So pity about that, Mark. Hopefully we can welcome you back another time. And then Shane, I know that if Oracle's on the show, Shane will definitely make an appearance. The trilogy, Oracle, Couch, and Brent, the old firm, as we called it on Twitter earlier. Good to have the old boys back in the hot seat. And we're all united, BG, guys, on the Pumas.
Can I just ask you on that, when you were talking points there, would you say it's you definitely going to be Pumas points, or you think Griquas can contribute and it's just going to be an open affair that totals is an option as well?
I guess I'm expecting the points line to be around about the 60 points, but no, Kach, I'd rather just, in a game like this where I like a team on the handicap, I'll be zeroing in firmly on Pumas points. Look, obviously do a conditions check and all of that, and it's one of those things. For me, I make a decision. I'm either big on the handicap or big on the points. I probably wouldn't go big on both because there's nothing worse than getting the old double hiding there. But I will be looking definitely at Pumas points. That, of course, is on Friday evening. Anything else from either of you on this game before we move on to the Bok game?
No.
Right, let's move on to the Springboks. And
I want to know what those two shirts on that fake wall at the back behind are. That's all.
What are those shirts, Han?
It's let me just get my. That's a Lions reserve jersey there, or third kit or away kit or whatever, and that's the British Lions practice jersey. Yeah.
Okay. So we got them up there. That's great.
For the last show, or did you put them on for this show only?
For the previous show, you guys are just the lucky knock-ons.
Okay. Yeah, no wonder I thought, when you came on the show, I saw you take a swig of water. You looked like you'd run a marathon already. So that was the previous show that you'd been on. But Kach, let's start with you here. We've got the Springboks up against Georgia, minus 36.5 points, the box here. I can't remember. I've had a very busy week, but I know there's been line movement here. I don't know what Georgia opened, and maybe someone in the live chat can just point it out. But I think it was like maybe 26.5 or something happening to my sound here. Let me just take this. Take this out. What do you make of this? Is this handicap well set, or is there some value there, Kach?
Brent, I think the tough one is it's easy to come out and say the Boks going to win by 40 or 50 points if you look at the Springbok team. And the only thing I'm thinking is, you'd shy away from that, but I just can't see Georgia scoring many. I think they're a strong forward-orientated team, and against the Springboks, they could go down 20 points, kick for a line out. They're not really going to maul us over, I don't think. Even though we... some of the combinations aren't really too settled. I don't see them, out muscling our forward. So I really can't see Georgia scoring, if anything, more than one charge. So it's going to be tough for them to add on in the box. You're not going to keep us under 40, I'm sure. So that all of a sudden brings this handicap into play. Obviously, if it was 29, if it was under 30, I'd be on it. At this stage, I'm not really gonna jump in boots and all, but I'm definitely not gonna back Georgia on the plus. It's just I know they're a much tougher team than the last time we played them, and years ago. They've definitely toughened up. They can play a decent game of rugby. They can. I'm sure Heinrich is going to be on. I don't know, Springbok points or something, and Georgia, or maybe actually Brent Graham is going to be on Springbok points, and Georgia are going to hold the ball for 10 minutes and do nothing with it. And I can just read the WhatsApp messages about them just wasting time and doing nothing. So I can see that happening this weekend. But handicap-wise, I'm staying away.
Well, speak of the devil, Couch, you mentioned Henrik Swart, and there he appears. Chris, I'm guessing that's a typo, but if you got plus 39 South Africa against Georgia, you got yourself a cracking bet there, or a very short price. I can tell you. Let's go up to Oracle Rugby and see what he thinks about this test.
So I'm going down to the sort of Western Cape area in December, and I'm going to probably have lunch with Mr. Couch Critic over here. And I'm going to suggest that we have a small wager, no money, Han. I will pay for the lunch, And you can bring your chick and maybe a couple of mates. I've got no problem with that. I'll pay for the lunch if they score a try. If they don't score a try, you're paying for lunch for myself and my wife and my kid. How's that?
Let's just put that in writing. It's gonna be 3 people. Let's just make it confirmed there's 3 people I'm paying lunch for, and then it's a deal.
Yeah. Well, it's yourself as well, so it's 4.
I think Couch will be introducing himself to some of these friends he's bringing along outside the restaurant before they come in.
No, I do believe he has a girlfriend, and I believe he's got a couple of friends that he can line up for. But I'd like to go to the same place, Han. I really enjoyed that last lunch we had. Anyway, honestly, I think this handicap's too low. I know it opened up in the 20s. I think that it's too low. I think South Africa will win this game just by default without even trying. This is if Georgians, look, I stand to be corrected. I don't think Georgia's ever been to South Africa. I think going to the half out on their first game is an absolute nightmare for them. I don't think they've got any chance here. This honestly could be 65, 70 points. I think 30, whatever it is. I think anything under 48.5, 50.5 is probably value. I don't think they score a try. They might get 3, 6, maybe 9. And if they score a try, well, then I'm buying lunch for Han, and I'll have to eat it up. But honestly, the minus is the play here. Race over. Put the result in.
I'm not so sure, Brent. I'm not so sure how I got myself into the bet, because I just said I'd be surprised if Georgia scores a try, and now I'm into a bet where if they score a try, I have to buy lunch. I don't know what's happening here.
No, Han, you don't. It's an offer. You're welcome to take it if you want. If you don't worry.
I think Gav, we'll park that one for a different market where we disagree.
No problem.
We'll park that one over. Now, guys, I struggle to see Georgia score as well. I don't think they've much of a attacking threat, so I'm definitely not going to be on that one. Brent, since it's Ben Olymp leading the way as well, I've got a first try scorer, Georgia. He did the business in the World Cup for me, and I know Oracle's got his name tattooed there on his bum cheek, and it's Jabba Gavatse, so I think he's going to score the first try for Georgia.
Is that number 9? I remember that number 9 when he played against South African under 20 a few years ago. Geez, that was fantastic. That Georgia number 9. If they didn't have that number 9, you could write off 20 points. I don't know if he's playing for the national team right now, but I was very impressed with him. I don't know his name. I never know their names, but I was really impressed with him. If he's in the national team right now, you can probably take 5 points of that. They won't lose by 75. They'll lose by 70.
Well, I must say, Couch, all I've got is this horrible image of a tattoo on Oracle's butt at the moment. Thanks for sticking that into my mind. And I don't want to know what kind of lunch you went on last time that you actually saw it. Here's Sean Nicholas. If Georgia scored a drop goal, can he get a free lunch? Well, I could just picture them 68-0 down and going for the drop there, Shauna. But yeah, interesting one. I see like Chris Rowe is on the plus 39.5. It looks like he's kind of man alone. I'd be a bit more wary about this handicap, just simply because this game at the end of the day is a preparation game for the Boks. And you never know, like Hendrik said, that Georgia perhaps a little bit of possession merch. It's someone else coming in as well. The Boks haven't played together for a long time. Yeah, there's lots, but the bottom line is that if the Boks apply themselves and they play this game for 80 minutes, I think they'll make short work of this handicap as well. I really do.
Brent,
but anyway,
I agree with you. There's nothing suggesting South Africa can win this game easily. Where I'm coming from is it's going to be a default win. It's going to be just play normal rugby, stuff around a bit, and you'll still win by 50. That's where I'm coming from is these guys are coming over here. I mean, everyone's saying South Africa haven't played since the World Cup. I don't know how much Georgia have played. I honestly haven't looked. I don't care. They're coming to the half-out. First time in South Africa. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's the first time coming to South Africa. I think these Oaks are just in for a massive. They're going to a stadium, Ellis Park, Loftus, whatever. It's empty stadium in the bitter cold of winter. Yes, they know about the cold, but it's half-out. It's that
summer for them, I think.
Sorry?
I said it's summer for Georgia.
I know, but it's 1,600 meters above sea level. They got no idea. They're coming this is foreign to them. This is very foreign to them. I'd say they got no chance, honestly. By default, they'll lose by 50. Default. Just by the Springboks coming up.
Brent, I remember a time when Oracle said his Sevens videos did well when he tagged like these Uruguayans and Georgian team kind of guys. But I think he might have lost all his Georgia following now. I think he's just sold them down the river there.
I think it was the Samoan. I think the one video got like 10,000 hits. He became like
the Tongans.
He became a pin-up boy in Tonga. Well, I tell you what, if you tip Tonga, we'll get to their game a little bit later. If you're tipping them to win against New Zealand, you will be a pin-up boy.
Brent, if you want viewers, seriously, if you want viewers, just hashtag that Tonga on there and the hashtag of the game, and they'll come. I promise you, they were so starved of watching anything about their team. Like, no one talks about them. If you throw them a bone, they'll grab it with both arms.
Well, just hashtag butt cheek. I'm sure I'll get a few unwelcome blooming people. In fact, I must admit, normally on a Friday morning, I do get a few odd comments on the video. A couple of, I don't know what you call them, trolls or bots or something like that, coming like with some strange links there as well. Let's see what the boys have to say there. Hendrik saying, if Georgia hold the margin to less than 20 in the first half, surely the minus can be fired at halftime. And yes, certainly could be a prospect to get involved with the in running there. Gents, yeah, the interesting one. I'm just laughing about something else because Gav was talking about them coming to South Africa. I thought Gavin was going to say they're going to party, and then I was going to say that's going to be a bit difficult. But I was laughing off at the South African video welcoming the Lions, the one where RG Snyman says in Afrikaans they're going to taste the grass. But one of the South African players says, enjoy our beautiful country. But the guys are going to be literally locked in their hotel for like 6 weeks. They're not going to be they're not going to be enjoying the thing. But anyway, we've spent quite a bit of time on the old Bok game there. Let's move on to the next game, which actually does involve the Lions. And as I said at the start of the show,
just the last one for me there is to get on Herschel Jantjies as the last try scorer. He's a nippy 9. He's, I think, got a little bit to prove as probably the third scrum off in the lineup there. So get Ben Olympus got it on. I think it's 12-1 for Herschel Jantjies, last try scorer against a tired bunch of Georgians.
Okay, what price did you say? 12-1 there at Bet Olympus. Okay. And remember, Couch Critics previews, I see Chris has already posted one of them up on the weekend, and he's got all those try-scorer bets, and he's got a very unique betting style, which I know a lot of people love. Let's get on to the next game, and I'm going to start with Oracle here. It's his beloved Lions. By that, I mean the Golden Lions in Johannesburg, playing against the British and Irish Lions. The handicap opened around the 21.5-point mark. There's been solid support for the British and Irish Lions. Obviously, I haven't even seen it, but I'm assuming they've named a strong team. And Oracle, I know you said to some of the boys today, don't rush into backing the British, Irish, and Lions until you've seen the show. So let's see what you come up with here. What have you got for us?
You spotted that. I thought only one or two of my mates spotted that. I'm very impressed. Anyway, I'm sure you've looked at the history, and we all have, and I'm 50 years old, so I've been there for just about every Lions tour north of 1974 when I was 3 years old. Look, they went to New Zealand. They lost a couple of games. Myself and Sean Nicholas, Mr. Golden Boy over there, had a conversation the other day. And there's always a banana peel in one of these provincial games. But where I'm really interested is I looked at a lot of the results, and they just don't score a lot of points. Yes, they won the odd game by 60 or 70. This is a dead rubber game. It's not a dead rubber for the sake of it. Obviously, the British and Irish Lions want to win the game, and they probably will win the game. In fact, they will win the game. I'm not going to be an idiot here, but when you look at the 25s or even 21s or 26s, it just gets to that point where you decide how much money you're putting at this. I just watched earlier, and I'm sure those of you who are watching Survivor, I just finished watching Survivor before the show. I enjoy that show, and one day you'll see me on that show. I just haven't got there yet. We watched the Sharks play the British and Irish Lions in 2009. And, I've known Rory Cockett. I've watched a lot of his games. I didn't realise that Ike was a firm 9. I thought he was a 10. That's how badly I know players. So that'll confirm a lot of worries about the guys watching the show and have watched me before. I don't know the players. I was very surprised when I saw it was Monty Dumont. It was shocking. But they won 39-3. Halftime was 7-3. I watched a couple of the other games, and I've seen a lot of the results. When you get into the 20s, it becomes a very, very fair 50-50 bet. There's no guarantee this team's going to win by 30 or more. There's no guarantee that they're going to win by 20 or less. It's really a coin toss, this. So my advice to people is do not put a lot of money on a game like this. Honestly, anything can happen. They're going to the Highveld. It's night time. It's their first game in South Africa in a long time. There are no fans. I don't know what the temperature is like in Joburg. I know it's not going to be raining. It's winter. But honestly, if you're giving me 26.5, I'm a Golden Lion supporter here. A small bet, like not even 1 unit, but I think it's just a little bit too much for the first game. I think they might beat one or two other teams. I had my kid in absolute stitches earlier when I showed him the result. They played the Kings, 20 points to 8 points to 20, should I say. I mean, you see results like that and you think to yourself, the Oaks must have absolutely climbed into that 2009 game. I was at Marshall's at the time. We must have had a handicap of close to 40 for that match. I don't know how the hell they lost by 12 points. I mean, you look at some of these games, the Cheetahs lost by 2. They played the emerging Springboks, the A team, they drew 13-all. You look at their results in New Zealand in the last tour and the one in Australia before that, there's only a couple of games where they scored a hell of a lot of points. I'd be very scared taking a British and Irish Lions minus in a tour game. Oaks are stuffing around, they're trying positions, they're having fun, they're probably drinking beer afterwards. Don't worry about the booze ban. They would have found it somewhere. Somebody would have smuggled them something. They're definitely going to get their beer. Don't worry about that. If you're going for minus here, I'm suggesting you keep it small. And at the same point, if you're going for plus, just keep it small. Enjoy the game. Don't let it hurt yourself. It hurt your wallet and your finances.
Right. Well, let's get Kachi in here. Kach, while you're talking, I'm going to look at the points lines because I believe we do have some out. In fact, let me actually bring it up here. I see Bet Adam have got 55.5 total points.
I think the Lions are 14.5. The locals are 14.5. Unless they've moved. That's caught my interest, but I was hoping to get a quote on the tries. I think if they're going to go on the Gauteng Lions over 1.5 tries, I'm going to get on board there. I don't think the British Lions see this kind of style and this kind of atmosphere a lot. It's going to be a beautiful winter's day there to play some running rugby, and I think the local Lions are gonna chuck it about and score a couple of tries. Whether that's gonna make them finish in the handicap or not is probably a little bit of a different question. But I think something I'm gonna try and have a go at. I just have to figure out how I'm gonna do it. Is for the locals to finish stronger. I mean, we all know how altitude kicks in there. They've got Steve Tolly and Carlos Sardi on the bench.
They call it the petrol hour. So in soccer, they say the 60 minutes up, the hour marks up. In rugby, we call it the petrol hour. The petrol runs out, and the last 20 minutes is the home team.
Yeah, they definitely going to run out. I mean, that's notorious there at Ellis, and especially the way the Gauteng Lions play their rugby. They throw it about, so they're going to make you run around as well. And I think that's going to cost the visitors in that last 20. So I don't know if it's loaded yet at Bet Olymp, but I'm gonna play a special there where it's going to be British and Irish Lions to lead by more than 9 points or more, and then to win the game by 1-12. So I think the locals going to finish strong, and that's just a little speculated 18-1. I think it's worth a go. And otherwise I think maybe have a look in play if the British start strong, then back the plus. I think because as I said, I think the locals will finish the stronger of the two teams. And I'm still looking at the Lions points, but as opposed to Henrik, I think I prefer the tries. It's in the Lions DNA, the locals to not really go for points. They're going to want to score some tries. So I'm still on the lookout for the tries punt there on the locals.
Well, we'll go together. Gav, I just want to say there's obviously a sideshow going on here because we want to all get you on Survivor. I think you'd be absolute value. But Des Simon's coming on. Des, of course, a bookmaker himself. He says, I take Evans. Oracle votes himself off Survivor to watch the rugby. Absolutely love that. Having a good chuckle. What else you got for us, Oracle?
I've almost forgotten what I was going to say. I have forgotten. Give me a moment.
No problem. I'll share my views on this game when you're doing it. Look, I haven't had a good study of the teams yet, but I tend to agree with you guys. I think we're going to get points all round, and I can't see the Johannesburg Lions not getting a good couple of tries here. That 14.5 points line, I would like 13.5, and it sounds like a silly difference, but that's probably the difference in this game, or could be the difference between 2 and 3 tries if the Lions do nail their conversion. Right, you thought of it again, Oracle. I'm not going to distract you this time. I want you to remember it.
Yeah, so I'm at Marshall's. I'm working at Marshall's in 2009, 2009, whatever you call it, to the British Irish, and I had so much fun that day they played the Lions. So guys are phoning and they're going, I want to put 5 on the Lions, and I said to every single punter that phoned me, and there must have been, I don't know, there were hundreds of them the whole day. So which Lions are you talking about? And I had so much fun. And today, like, we don't get that fun anymore because it's all on the internet. You know which side to click, left or right. But geez, I loved that day. Eh? Which lines do you want? I just loved it. Sorry, I thought I had to mention that.
So tell me, were they all coming for the same lines, or was there a mix of bets there?
Well, it was a handicap, so people were going plus and minus. But I just remember having all of these guys going, but I want the local lines. And I'm going, so which lines is that? Is that the one with the red shirt or the red shirt? I was having so much fun with him. And Alex got pissed off with me the whole day, but I had a lot of fun.
So, Gav, I got a memory of Marshalls for you as well. Marshalls used to have spread betting when you were there. And I mean, I used to be a spread bet of note.
I brought it to them.
Yeah. And you brought it to them. But the one time I'm punting spread and I'm looking for a halftime play, and they just wouldn't open the betting. It wouldn't open. It was going. So I was so upset, and I messaged Gavin. I said, Gavin, what the hell's happening? He said, sorry, I'm in the bathroom. I had to close the markets. And that's my memory of that. You were running the game on your own. And you had to go off to the bathroom, so the markets just closed down.
You have to go to the toilet sometime, mate.
just like that. Anyway, we really are getting sidetracked now. We've spoken about the points. I will be looking at a points, but I know some of the guys got on, I think, 38.5 British and Irish Lions points. I think that quote's probably closer to the 41.5 point mark. Now, just want to mention two things here before we move on. I've started a super group. It's 100 Rand. I'm going to post a link in the comments section now, and I'll also put it hopefully afterwards below here. It's called the Irish Box. Look for us on Super Brew. It's 100 Rand to enter. 20 Rand of that 100 is going to go towards fundraising for my son's school, but the rest of it all goes into the pot. So 80 Rand into the pot, and we'll have 50% for the winner, and we'll pay down to fourth place. So if you are playing the Super Brew, search for the Irish Box, and I'll also post a link in the live chat, and any support there would be appreciated. I think we can have a bit of fun there. And also just to mention, we'll have a Durban July preview up. I actually recorded it just before the show with Southpaw and Jason Derrick. That will be up tonight as well. And, of course, the Tour de France previews. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, if you're following me and you've been betting on the Tour de France.
Brent's in cracking form.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure you've unsubscribed. Having said that, I want to say that I think my analysis has been superb. So try and watch it and forget about the bet at the end. But anyway, we'll move on. We'll move on to the next game now. And this
Brent, just the last one for me. There's no try scorers yet at Ben Olymp on the Lions v Lions, but look out for Morne van den Berg's last try scorer, the nippy scrum half who comes on. I know it's both games. I'm taking the Nines, but he's really electric, and he's got a bit of a step to him as well. So I'm expecting him to be in the running for a late try.
Okay, I'm just looking at some of the comments here. Johan Transvaal to cover the cap. There's a game that hasn't taken place for about 30 years. And let's move on to the it's the British.
Brent, maybe can I just add lastly in that Lions? I think the one thing if you're thinking about the cap to remember is that I know in our previous show one of the guests said I think Transvaal and / the Lions in their history is the team that have actually beaten the British and Irish Lions the most times, more often than anyone else. But the one thing you've got to remember of these pool games now, or these week, I don't know, whatever you want to call them, warm-up games, tour games, is that they're going to be playing for the Springboks. Often these guys had the likes of Kobus Wiese and those kind of guys in their ranks. And I mean, these really are a bunch of young Lions. So yeah, I wouldn't say don't get too overexcited about the locals.
Yeah, and I also get the feeling that this Lions tour is going to be a bit different. I think the British and Irish Lions are going to want to get up to speed pretty quickly as well for this tour. I just got that feeling that they're going to want to hit it. Gav, you got something to add there?
Yeah, I was just going to say the last time, I heard the Western Provinces had beaten them 3 times, and the last time was in 1938. I don't have a living relative that was alive in 1938, so I can't even confirm that was even true.
Okay. Right, let's move on to the Maori All Blacks against Samoa. Couch, I'll start with you. 25.5. I think this is a similar handicap to the one we had last week. This game, I don't know. It wasn't televised anywhere here from what I could tell. So I never really paid much attention to it, and I'm not paying much attention to it this week. You got any thoughts?
Yeah, thanks for passing that one above my head with the loose forward charging on. I've got 0-0 for you on this one. I also didn't. I know the guys were quite firm. I think last week on backing the Maoris, and I don't think they delivered. So it's nothing that excites me about this game. I'm waiting for the main dish there from the All Blacks.
Excellent. Just to also mention, we got a betting competition on the Lions tour on the forum that Henrik has kindly put up a 500 Rand prize for. So go and have a look. There's a special thread on that. I haven't really had time to punt it at all this week, but go enjoy that. You just basically pick one bet a weekend and we see who comes out with the most money at the end. Right. Just to mention on the Good for the Game forum, the next game, I must go to Gav to see if he's got an opinion on the Maori All Blacks. Gav, anything on that game?
Yeah, so what was the handicap last week on this match? Sorry, I didn't watch this
game. It was also about 22.5, somewhere around there, 23.5. I think there was some money for the Maori. I think it started at 20 and moved out a bit.
Yeah, so they won by 25, and I'm gonna suggest that this week will even be even worse. I'm on the minus here, and my memory takes me back to when they had the Pacific Nations Cup, which is now a proper IRB Tier 2 tournament. They used to have the Australian B team, and they used to have the New Zealand Maori coming in as the teams against Japan, Tonga, and Fiji and Samoa. And this team used to win every time. And then they bombed them out the tournament, and then the Australian team did very well. This New Zealand Maori at home, and I know you have to have a stand to be corrected here. I think it's 6.25, so it's 1/16th Maori blood, and you're in the team. Doesn't matter how white you look or how you look anywhere, you're in the Maori team, and it's based on blood and heritage. And these are the guys that don't get into the normal New Zealand team. They play in this team, and they'll absolutely murder the Samoan team. Again, going back to the COVID period, teams haven't played. They were probably fresh last week, losing by 25. I think they're going to be absolutely smashed this week. I think minus 25 is a gift. This game's in Wellington. You remember a Lions team in 2017 arriving. They were a fantastic team with Faf de Klerk and all of them, and they still lost by 17 or 18. And they had something to play for. This team's got nothing to play for. I'm suggesting this might be well over 30.
Gavin, is it that fantastic 9-10 combination that the Maori have selected that's got you convinced?
No, they've only got two debutants. I'd be more worried about the Tongan team, who are employing primary school kids to play for their team.
So I'm lost now. So who the 9-10 combo for the Maoris there, Akachi?
It doesn't matter. They'll win easily.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that Oracle doesn't know.
I'm just getting a call from Granny. Granny's phoning me. I might be a couple of seconds. Hold on a second. Let me find my phone.
Take Granny's call while we look at the next handicap.
This is a wallet phone. Yeah, Gran, no problem. I'm on. Okay, all right, I got it. I'll chat to you later. We're on the minus here.
In this game or the Maori game?
No, the Maori one. We're on that one.
Okay.
And sorry, just one more thing, Brent. In New Zealand, they play these games one after another. So I haven't even looked at the fixture time yet, but I'm guessing the one's a 5 o'clock game and the other one's a 7 o'clock game. In New Zealand, they like to chuck these things together for a sort of booster rugby kind of Scar one or whatever they call it, and they want to have a big show. They don't do them one night after another. I think I'm right. In fact, they might even play at the same stadium. They've done that many times before.
Okay, I'm not sure if that's the case. Maybe someone in the live chat could tell us. But let's move on to this game, because Ballaholic came on the forum earlier this week, and he came on quite early. He says, I've jumped on the AB's minus 73.5. Now, that's a massive handicap. But the more you read about this game, the more you realize that every chance the ref is going to stop this game early. And I guess the only worry for minus backers here is, on New Zealand, Couch going to take some form of pity on Tonga. And I don't know. I guess in international rugby, there is no pity. You take the points when you get it. Guys can set personal records. I mean, would you be taking, and I'll start with you, Couch, minus 79.5?
Brent, there's no pity, but the problem is there is quite a deep, rooted respect between the islanders and that kind of thing. So, I mean, they definitely won't go out there to humiliate them. The only question is whether that, proud tradition of the All Blacks is just about keeping your head down and doing the business and not really looking at the scoreboard. So, that's the thing. But I'm a team punter, and obviously I like what I see from the All Black team, but I don't know a Tongan from a coconut tree. So, I mean, it's going to be tough for me to comment on what I expect from Tonga, but just looking at that, it's a massive handicap. I did think early in the week, if it was just, under 70, you could probably see it happening. I mean, that's a powerful All Black team, but this is going to be like throwing darts blindfolded. So I'm going to leave that one out. I'm going to get stuck into the bets, and there's actually one that I quite like there. I know not everyone's cup of tea on the try scorers, but Asafo Amoa, he's been fantastically good for me, the hooker, obviously. And he's coming on off the bench, but he's going to be like a rampaging bull there. So, he's about 7-2, I think, to score a couple of tries in the game. And that's where I'm going to focus. And Akira Ioane, Hendrik Swart's favorite player, one of the most selfish players around. But that's why I love him as a try scorer. So get on Akira as first try scorer, and Amoa to score 2 or more, and just enjoy the game and not worry about the handicap. That's my advice on this one. Obviously, I know Oracle can't go the minus now to keep his faithful happy.
Oracle, what about this one? It's a massive handicap. I mean, are you going to put anything of grannies on this?
Yes, I tell you, Brent, you would remember that 2007 World Cup. There was that. I did I'll go back to the 1990. I think it was 1995. No, sorry, 2005 game against Uruguay. We'll talk about that in a minute, but the 2007 World Cup, Portugal played New Zealand. The handicap was, I think it was, I may have got it wrong, whether it was 120 went down 110 or 110 went up to 120. There was movement between the two, but it never went lower than 110. And people came to me and said, geez, Gav, what do you like here? And I said, listen, if it's over 85, you take the plus or you don't have a bet. And I've always been like it. I've been very strict. It's one of my rules. I've stuck to it. I remember Namibia playing France in that same World Cup. The handicap was 84 or 83. They lost by 84. There was 84 and they lost by 85. I just lost that one. And that's where I came up with the rule. I'm not interested in this massive minus story, but at 79, it's below what I'm accepting. And I'm going to come back to the Uruguay game. So Uruguay come to South Africa in 2005. They're playing a game in East London. And Des Simons, you watching, I know you're a bookmaker. You've been going for a long time. You'll remember this game. Everybody, his brother, his uncle, and his cousin won the minus 35 on Tuesday. By the time Thursday came, the handicap was, 60, 70, 72, whatever it was. By the time the game started, it was probably 80. I can't even remember what it was. But every bookmaker was standing the minus. South Africa won 132-3. I think that, I can't even remember his name. I think it was Dion Kaiser. One of these, I scored 4 tries. They either got 3 or they got nothing. The point is, they sent a C team. They had 2 international caps amongst themselves. This Tongan team, they are asking people that are currently at school to play for them. I'm sorry, I'm going for the minus 79 here. It's below my level of concern. If it's 85, I'd be a bit worried about it. But at 79, listen, you can probably go to about 2 units on this and just enjoy the game. You are up against time. That's your only enemy in this game is time, in this bet, sorry. You could run out of time.
No, I'm just laughing though, because you've come up with a rule, but I mean, there must have been 3 games of that handicap over the last 21 years. I mean, it seems like, I mean, I do like the rule, but I mean, you could be that many times where you've had to enforce that rule.
Brent, you only have to be beaten once. So that Namibia game against France in that 2007 World Cup taught me this lesson. I went with my pen and paper, and I do every day. I write to the pen and paper, but I don't have computerized notes. I write to the pen and paper. I write, this is a rule. Do not, if it's 85 or more, do not touch the minus. Either have a bet on the plus or don't have a bet. That's my rule. You've got to have rules. You have to have rules. Otherwise,
I agree. My line's 125. If the handicap's over 125, I don't have a bet. I'm still yet to find that game. But now I'm with you there. I'm only kidding around with you. I know there aren't many big handicaps like that. Brad Young coming in and he's saying, Gav, Tondarai Shavanga, he thinks he scored 7 tries that game. I've got a vague memory of it now myself. You remember the name?
Yes, I do. And there was another Oakland. I can't remember who it was. He scored 4 tries in that game. I just can't remember. It's beyond me now. But it was a ridiculous game. And in fact, I stand to be corrected, Brent, but I think the IRB actually fined Uruguay for sending a C team. So they were never supposed to. A lot of the players, whatever the reason was, they didn't come to South Africa. When the reporters and the media arrived at the airport, they go like, who are these people? Oh, no, we play for Uruguay. And it was an absolute mockery of rugby. It was a waste of time us playing them. I mean, who wants to lose 132-0 or 132-3 or 135-0 or whatever the number was? It was 1-3. Those were the first two digits. The other team didn't get more than 5. I don't know what the score was. But the handicap at the start of the week was 35 points. And I seriously, every bookmaker in the country will remember that day. 2005 was 35 points on Tuesday. The money came, I think, I'm not joking, I don't know what the end result was, but I don't think we had 1,000 Rand on the Uruguayans plus at any number we gave them. It just was salary a minus, the whole world, the brother, the cousin, the auntie, the granny, whatever, they were all on the minus. There was no one on the plus at any number.
I can imagine someone tuning in late to the show and scrambling down the fixture list looking for Uruguay's name and not finding it, wondering what is going on. But I love those memories as well, Gav. Absolutely love them. I mean, certainly got lots of punting memories from those days. I don't think my memory is quite as sharp as yours. I must say yours is impressive. But Gav, here's another one we got for you. Ireland minus 10.5 against the Japanese. Japan put up quite a fight last week. I was on the minus 17.5, thank goodness. But they came back and really took it to the Lions in the second half.
They did, and I managed to convince my kid, who's still a 1 Rand punter, he's managed to get as much as 10 Rand on a game. It's very dubious when I tip him rugby, very concerned. Anyway, I've got to pay him back in vouchers when I get it wrong, and I have got a few wrong recently. I told him, get on the plus. I think we had plus 19.5, so we won by a point. In fact, they were winning by 28, and he said, oh, it's all gone, and he wanted to chuck his phone down, and I said, no, hold on a bit. You know, it's never out of it. And I messaged Brendan, and I said to him, geez, what are these guys taking a penalty for? They took a penalty, and as it happens, they put us in the money because it went from 28 to 18, and anybody on plus 18 or plus 19 was in the money, and it never turned after that. So it was very interesting, a game that was almost 60 minutes of one team or 55 minutes of one team and 25 of the other. I'm going to tell you these Japanese probably win this game. I think I'm not going to tell you they got the wrong favourite. It almost feels like they do. But, half of Ireland are probably in the I say probably because I don't know every player. But I'm guessing half of Ireland are in the British and Irish Lions team. This Japanese team has familiarised themselves with local conditions. And I don't know, at 3 or some, I'm not going to say 3-1. You probably get 33-10, 7-2. And if you push a guy like Des Simons, you might even get 4-1. Just have a small bet. Watch the Japanese. They got all to play for. They've won over there before. They beat us all those years ago. They're not mugs. And I don't care if they haven't played in a while. This is a B team Ireland, and there is such a thing as a B team Ireland. There's no such thing as a B team New Zealand, so we're not talking about that. Japan can win this game, and they probably will. So have a small bet on the board here. Don't even take the plus. Small bet, not a massive one, and just watch the game and enjoy it.
Just Henrik Swart very much on board with you there as well, saying Jamie Joseph and Tony Brown, different class. Someone else mentioning that there's actually no debutants in that Ireland team, which is interesting. But obviously, yes, quite a few players will be missing for the Lions. Let's go to Couch on this one. Couch, you had a look at this game?
Brent, just firstly, honestly, I think I phased out for the last 10 minutes there, and Henrik broke me with Pollard hitting 3 sixes because I was on Lyndall Simmons to hit the most sixes in the game. So that was kind of done my money there, which is disappointing. But okay, we're talking rugby. I was pretty firm on Japan on the plus, but I've seen some wet weather comments from Shane and someone else, I think. And okay, there's a echo there, Brent. But so I'm still leading Japan. I see Henrik is still firm, and he thinks Japan can win the game. But in wet weather conditions, it'll suit Ireland. Japan have done a lot to improve the game, but they're still not strong scrum time. So that's a bit of a concern. But my biggest one there is to just throw in some Japan plus 17 into a few of my accumulators for the weekend. So I'm confident they'll keep it tight. They that kind of team, as Henrik has said as well. I've got faith in Jamie Joseph and Tony Brown. So they won't get slaughtered in that one. So they should keep it tidy. But in wet weather conditions, I'm not exactly running to the local bookshop to put some coin on the Japs.
And then the next game, Couch will get you on is minus 39.5 against Canada, the Welsh.
Yes, big news again. It's everyone. I see BW is quite big on Wales getting the job done again. I don't know a Canadian from a USA swimmer, so it's not going to mean much to me to see the teams. But apparently Canada are a bit understaffed for this one. So if anything, look at the minus. That's what the Clever Oaks are saying for this one. Canada, in any case, aren't really a team I'm going to jump at on the plus. So maybe a little bit of an alternative minus and throw that into the Japan one and combine it into a few other results there for the weekend. So that's where I'm going, but I'm definitely not going to punt big on the local Lions and then go and throw it back on a Wales against Canada game. That's not going to happen for me.
Right, yeah. I must say the Wales, just the only thing about them is I know they're the sort of side that doesn't often put the big handicaps away. But Oracle, you got anything on this one? 39.5 points. It's a big cap.
Yeah, so if you're struggling to find, I don't know, like a 12th leg to your multiple, then you can go with the Wales plus here. And I'm going to say, the Wales minus. I'm going to tell you, I have no idea about this game, but I do know that Canada are absolute rubbish at the moment. I think the Romanian D team would beat this Canadian team. And I know that there's a lot of Welsh guys in the British and Irish Lions, and this 39 is a lot. It's a lot for this fixture. It's a lot. I don't even know where the game's taking place. But I'm going to suggest that if the bookmakers think that this game is going to be 39, I'm saying they're probably a little bit short and they're being a little conservative here, knowing that most people, or most of the clever punters, back the plus. I'm going to say the minus is the right way to go here, but I would not go more than 0.13 of a unit. And that's absolutely it. I don't think it's going to be on TV in South Africa. In fact, it might cost you more than 0.13 of a unit just to get the game on the internet by way of paying for data or some sort of dodgy stuff. So I really wouldn't invest a lot of money in here. But if you are going to have a bet, I'm going to tell you the minus is the right way to go. This is a red flag. It looks dodgy, and it looks like the right way to go.
Well, Gab, do not adjust your screen. The handicap on the next game is exactly the same. England minus 39.5 against the USA.
Yeah, except that it's got USA there. And USA are, I don't know, about 50 times better than Canada. I'm going to tell you to take the plus here. I haven't even looked at this. Just off the top of my head, it looks right. England barely beat Italy and these other dodgy Six Nation teams by 39. I don't know how they think they're going to beat the Americans by that much. Americans are much better than Canada, and I see someone else saying Canada has named a strong side, which I'm going to suggest that, there might be 4 people that have played rugby in the last 5 years since Christian Stewart in the early 90s. The Canadian team has never been that good. I'm on the plus America, on the minus against Canada. You want to take a North American double? Take the American plus Canadian, the minus against the Canadians. Honestly, 0.13 of a unit and enjoy the game while you have a beer.
I'm not going to be hashtagging I'm not going to hashtag the Canadians here. I don't think we'll have a lot of thumbs down on this when the Canadians watch this video. Henrik Swart, agreeing with you on both games. Wales minus and USA plus. Catch, anything to follow the oracle there? As Shane says, the man's in fine fettle tonight.
Yeah, I wish I could be as confident as Gavin there, not knowing jack about the English team or the USA team coming into this one. I'd love to tell you, phone granny, always go on the US. They're a bunch of champions. It's in their DNA, back USA. I don't care if they're playing a varsity 9, I don't know. No, it's probably, as he said, if you look at it, it's again, throwing a bigger plus into a few multis if you really want to, but there's big rugby on this weekend. I'm not going to be bothered by Northern America having a go there. North America, it's not going to happen for me. I'm going to put my focus elsewhere. I'd rather go watch NOL if I really I'm still bored.
Gab, I'll come to you now just to mention someone else going against you there in both games. And then one of my old schoolmates watching from America saying, USA, go you good things. Kev, give us some honest opinion here. Can your boys beat the handicap? 39.5 is pretty good. Gav, what you got for us, mate?
Yeah, so you guys will remember Hilton Hassan. So he used to work with me at Marshall's in the old days. And I think he's at WSB now. He was with his own little Blackpool shop in the day. And he had a very interesting slogan which said, every game counts, but only some games matter. And I got to tell you, I don't think the USA game at 0.13 of a unit, and that's honestly the limits I'm going here. The USA and the Canadian games, they do not matter. They can happen in the background. And I'll wake up on Sunday morning, and if I've won, I've won. If I've lost, it really doesn't matter. We're so small. But honestly, these kind of games, you got to stress that to people. They think it's the same as the South African playing, against the Georgians or the British and Irish Lions playing. It's not. It's not the same. This is seriously. If you remember your report, and I remember mine in standard 6 and standard 7, I had H's everywhere. I used to joke and say they were rugby fields. It doesn't matter. Those don't matter. There's some games just don't matter. I still got out, got my matric certificate, and I'm here in the world. I'm 50 years old. Some things just don't matter. Walk past, doesn't matter.
Excellent. Well, Kevin telling me he doesn't even know where to watch it. But John, also one of our USA viewers, saying we have a better squad in the US now that there's Pro Rugby League. The squad are actually playing rugby consistently. So, John, I wonder if you're leaning perhaps a little bit on the plus. Henrik saying if anyone wants to bet right now, take the Proteas to win against the West Indies. Now, isn't it great all the sport we got on with the Euro and the cricket, and of course the Tour de France is plenty on the go. Gents, I think that brings us to the end of a lengthy show. There was plenty of handicaps to chat about, and we actually, considering none of us knew anything about the last two games, we actually spent quite a bit of time chatting about it and came up with some of the show's most confident calls. But just a reminder, the newsletter will come out tomorrow sometime with the best bet for the weekend. Talk about horrid runs in the Tour de France. My newsletter run's not much better at the moment, so looking to break that duck, but you can subscribe down below. And also, if you could join us on the Super Brew pool for that $100 would be much appreciated. We're going to move into bets, but before we do that, any final comments from you, Gav? It looks like you want to say something there.
Yeah, just the only ones for me. I think I'm very confident about South Africa against Georgia. And I'm sort of semi-confident about the local Lions against the British Irish Lions. And it's not about the Lions. Yes, everyone knows I'm a Lions supporter, but it's got nothing to do with that. I honestly think this handicap's a little bit too high. It's a very small to medium bet for me. I just feel that it's their first game on tour. Anything can happen. They're trying around a few combinations, and the Lions haven't been that bad recently. Yes, they lost that horrific game against the Pumas. I'm not investing a lot of money into it. My main bet for this weekend is South Africa against Georgia. It doesn't matter what minus you get up to, about 50. Honestly, I think you're well in the money. They'll win comfortably. And you can fiddle around with things like the Maoris against Samoa at 25. And the minus Wales against Canada at 39, 40. I was about to swear there, you can probably go to 50 on that one. And the Americans plus looks good. That Tongan team will get absolutely smashed. It's below my level, so I'm quite excited that I can get involved in that game. It's below 85. I'm really excited. If it was 85, I'd be crying. If it was 86, because I know it's going to be a smashing. They got high school kids in that game. And if they tell you they're not high school kids, they're high school kids. Don't believe them. That's over. So,
right,
my best bet is minus followed by Tonga.
Excellent. Thanks, Gav. Kach, end us off with your best bet, mate.
In summary, Oracle loves everything this weekend, and I'm gonna go for I'm still looking for the market, the Gauteng local Lions Sigma. What are they? I don't know. Enigma, something like that. But Stigma Lions to get more than 1.5 tries. I think they'll score a couple of tries. So I'm still looking for that market. In the meantime, it's Pumas minus 9.5. I think they're gonna do the business. Look at Pumas points as well. So those are my two big games to focus on. I'm gonna leave the USA to do sports that they're good at, and the Canadians, I don't know, to chop wood in the mountains somewhere. So that's it for me.
Sorry, Oracle?
I said, and to steal maple syrup.
Oracle's on top, on absolutely top form tonight. Guys, I'm going to close this off. I haven't really formulated my best bet yet, but I do like the Pumas strong tomorrow against the Griquas. I'm looking at overs of some kind, probably in the British and Irish Lions game. And look, I must admit, I'm not as confident as Gav on either the Canadian or the USA game. And someone else's comments also had me thinking there. But that's it for the weekend. It's a big weekend of sport. We've got Durban, July. The Tour de France hits the mountains. we've got Euro 2020, we've got international cricket, we've got everything. But yet, I won't harp on about the fact of school sports not being on for like 2 years now, but that's just me getting depressed. But guys, thanks very much. Couch, thanks a lot, mate. Have a great weekend, and we really appreciate you doing the double shift on the show as well. And thanks for keeping those jerseys up for our show.
Cheers, James. Always good.
Excellent. Oracle, thanks a lot, mate. Cheers. Thanks, everyone.